DJ Ash Noble here. Welcome back to another stream. You can tell that the TT is just around the corner because I'm actually in my Michael Dunlop club, what I got from going to the Northwest 200 last year, and I was actually thinking that I do need to get some more motorbike t-shirts and some Isle of Man TT t-shirts, as I've got one, but I've had it quite a while and it's getting a little bit old and faded now, and it would be really nice to have some other Isle of Man t-shirts as well, so I'm going to have a look for that. But yeah, the TT is round the corner, so it's time to start wearing some bike merchandise, and Michael Dunlop is part of the legendary Dunlop family, so I couldn't think of anything better to wear with the lead up to the TT than Michael Dunlop clothing itself. Welcome back to another stream. So let's have a In the Beer Garden update. Now, if you've not watched the previous streams, then I'll give you just a real quick rundown of what In the Beer Garden is, and just basically what it's about. So to cut the long story short, currently at the moment, I do a DJ residency in a pub in Driffield called The Buck. And the owner of the Buck owns a pub across the road called the Tiger Inn. And they have a beer garden that is basically like twice the size as the one at the Buck. And basically, I got an idea to do an event called In the Beer Garden, and I pitched it to the landlady, who said that it was an absolutely fantastic idea. And we have now since began organising and promoting an event called In the Beer Garden that is taking place on the 30th of August on the Bank Holiday Sunday. And it's set to be an absolutely amazing day. Like, I'm so excited as to how well the day is going to go. It's looking like it's going to go really, really well. I'm super excited for it. So, so the first stream was where I kind of told you like the real in-depth story of how the whole like idea came together, and the idea came together very it wasn't expected. It was like basically I got a little idea, and then I pitched the idea to a friend, and basically he kind of like put a bigger idea in my head that I morphed into what is now In the Beer Garden. So originally I had the idea about like, why don't we put some music outside the Buck, like just when it's, you know, a little bit nicer weather. I'll DJ out there. DJ Alex will DJ out there, and I pitched that idea to him. I said, look, we should do something outside, just, you know, when the weather's nice. And then he said the idea about the Tiger, and then it was like you know, there's a bigger beer garden and stuff like that. And I just kind of thought, like, do you know what, like, this would be a great opportunity to do something like even bigger than just like, let's put music out there. And then that's how I kind of like morphed and shaped together the whole kind of yeah, the whole idea of In the Beer Garden. So the reason why I called it In the Beer Garden was just basically, literally and simply because it's doing what it says on the tin. It's, you know, it's an event that is literally taking place in the beer garden of a pub. However, the beer garden is quite a substantial size that you can almost create like a small, almost like outdoor festival in there, or out there, which is like a really, really cool thing. Like, I'm proper super buzzed. So so I began putting this idea together, and where we're at now at the current moment in time with this event is we're actually really strong at the moment. We're at like a really strong at the moment. We're just doing really well at the minute. So at the moment, I'm currently in the process of announcing the lineup. So I've put a lineup together of some really, really good talent, to be fair. And we're just at that point where I've announced about 4 artists, I think, I've announced altogether. So who we've announced so far is we've announced somebody, a duo called Leo and Chaz, who they basically are like an acoustic duo, and they essentially do like some really, really cool sort of like rock covers, and they kind of go all the way and do things from the 70s kind of all the way up to sort of like present day, which is like really, really cool. I'm proper like super buzzed that these are coming on board to do the sort of like thing for us. And then we announced a young singer who is very new. She's actually never done a gig before, and she's gigging for the first time. And she's called Charlotte Harrison. And she again does like indie sort of like pop, and does like originals and covers and stuff like that. And she's really, really looking forward to that gig. Really, really first opportunity, which is absolutely fantastic. Then we have got DJ Jack K, who is coming over to do some DJing for us. So he's going to play a set on the evening portion of the night, which I'm super looking forward to as well, because he's just kind of like that right person. When I was kind of thinking about DJs that would kind of come and kind of do what I wanted for the event, I just kind of thought this is going to be absolutely perfect. It's somebody who very much plays a lot of cheesy, well-known remixes, and that is kind of the vibe that I want. I didn't want like to book somebody that was just going to go straight up into like a hard bass, hard bounce set, and I didn't want to book somebody that was just going to kind of go into like a techno or like a tech house set. I needed somebody that was going to kind of somewhat keep a little bit of a sort of like fast sort of hard dancey vibe, but at the same time like nothing too heavy, and everything kind of needs to be almost like a track that people will know. So like something, say, from the charts, or something well known from the yesteryear, which is a little bit like what I'm doing as well. So it was kind of to, I guess in a way, it was to kind of like continue that vibe, and then it was kind of to like just sort of keep that going, rather than like I come and do my thing and then suddenly it just drops to something that is just going to absolutely like bore the shit out of people, and make them want to go home kind of thing. It was to kind of keep the level that I sort of do with my DJ set, which moves on to the next artist announcement, which was me. I announced myself just to get it over and done with. And I believe that I said that in the last stream, because I think when I did the last stream last week, I had like just announced myself, and then I announced Jack on the Thursday or something. But yeah, I got myself out of the way. And then yesterday we did our biggest announcement to the whole event. And it was a little bit of a late addition to the lineup, but it was definitely one that, you didn't need to do any thinking when it's like, I would be available for this. It was like, yep. We've got my brother from another mother. We've got, of course, the Layman. So the Layman is going to be on the lineup, and he's going to be hosting my set. And if you've not seen myself and the Layman on a set before, then you know that we always deliver. We always deliver when we do a set. And we've done some of my favourite DJ sets that I've ever played since like gigging out have been sets where he's hosted, and we've done some really, really good ones. So to have him come to my own creation and host my set, it actually means a lot more to me than a lot of people think. So we've announced the Layman, and we've got about four, I think I'm announcing, if I'm right to remember, because I've kind of planned it all out, you see. And we're announcing another artist on Thursday, which isn't going to be as big of an announcement. I mean, like, every announcement's big, but we're announcing another solo singer, essentially, which I'm looking forward to announcing. You know, of course I am. Really, really looking forward to. You know, I'm excited to announce everybody. As you know, I'm excited for everybody. So we're doing that. And then on Monday, we're going to announce. I think I'm going to announce another DJ, because I've got another DJ that's going to close the festival down. Now, I had somebody else originally to close the festival down, and they decided that they didn't want to do it, and they just wanted to play on the after party instead, and they actually just wanted to enjoy the outdoor event. And they're quite new into kind of like DJing and stuff, and it's it's a bit new for them. And I just thought, you know what, that's absolutely fine. I just kind of thought he could close the festival down, but then, like, the fact that he didn't want to, like, it actually gave me a chance to put somebody I'd sort of like asked to do the after party to kind of say, well, look, do you actually want to now play on the main event, which was a bit more exciting for them as well. So I think that alternatively creates a little bit of a better vibe, just because, like, it keeps kind of things a little bit fresh as well. And then the after party, he's going to do some bits at the after party, which I'm like proper excited for. So I'm going to announce this other DJ. Then I'm going to announce the main, what I'm calling the headline singer, which I'm absolutely stoked to announce this, because when this guy got in touch and said that, because I put a post up and I was looking for like acts and artists and singers and, acoustic people that were basically like looking for gigs or performance opportunities, blah, blah, blah. And when this guy got in touch and he was like, look, I do so this and this and that, I was like, look, I can't not have you. Like, I was literally like, I had to really negotiate with this person, and I was like, listen, I've got to have you for this event, and I believe it's going to be worth it. I really, really do. Now, he does something really, really cool within his act. He does something really, really good. That, for starters, the landlady that runs the pub. Now, I'm unaware like how present she's going to be during the day, because she might actually be like busy over at like the Book, having to run the bar or something. I don't know if she's going to pop over and see how it's doing. I don't know if she's going to get somebody else to kind of man the bar, and then she can come over and like catch some of the event or something. Like, I've got no clue, but she will really love what this person's going to do, and so will a lot of other people as well. It's very, very different, but it's still in the form of like, it's an acoustic kind of thing, and I just think it's quite unique, and I just think it's really, really good. So big ups to people locking in, by the way. So I can't wait to announce that. That's going to be wicked. And then after that, there is a couple of there will be a couple of artists left to announce, but like, I'm going to drop the flyer. So I think there's going to be like 2 artists left to drop. One will be a DJ, one will be a singer. But I'm going to drop the main flyer first, like just after the headliner. And then we're going to really start bumping, rolling things, further with, of course, the event. So give him a chance. It'll be amazing. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. And the best thing about it is, I'm going to see this person play on Saturday. So there's a festival this weekend that takes place called Springfest. And I'm actually performing at it myself. My band is actually playing on the Sunday. He's playing on the Saturday. And I want to go and catch him. I want to really go and catch him and catch his live performance and stuff like that. He's playing at 10 o'clock on the Saturday night. I want to be there. I want to watch him perform and get the vibe for what he's going to do, because I'm so excited. I'm literally so excited for it that I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what he's going to be all about, and hearing him. I've seen videos, and what I've seen on the videos, I'm like, this is sick. This is really, really good. This is this is what you want, this, right? This is like proper what you want, a proper vibe, and that is exactly what he's actually bringing, and I can't wait to announce to you all online exactly what it is, like what he's doing, and like be able to announce him, which will be next week. But like, oh yeah, we're proper. Yeah, I'm excited. I really am. I am super excited for him. So yeah, so that's kind of where we are. We're kind of like just over halfway through like announcing who I'm going to announce before we drop the full flyer. So like we're getting like close to dropping the full flyer. We're about 2 weeks away from dropping the full flyer, which is quite good. And that isn't a bad thing at all, because in 2 weeks' time, it's the start of June. So we still pretty much like have a good 2 solid months of promotion, like once the flyer's out, like to promote the hell out of the event. And the promotion so far, there is a lot of people interested. We've just hit 300 followers on our Facebook page, which is really good. The event page itself is having some real good response as well. There's a lot of people like clicking interested. There's a lot of people clicking going. So the response has been quite good on the event page as well, which is really good. And then the posts themselves, where we've announced the artists, they've already been doing quite well. And I do know of people already that are coming to the event. Some people from out of the area, and then some people that are in the area that are also going to come and check out the vibe as well, which I'm proper looking forward to. So, we're really, really on, like, I literally cannot say anything negative about anything that's happened so far. The only thing that I did find that was a little bit negative, but it's it's one of them things, and I suppose it's one of them things that can't be helped. Now I put a post in a local Driffield group that basically I was looking for a like upcoming photographer. So the thing about this whole event is it's like, and the thing about the whole brand is it's about giving people a lot of, like, a big part of what this is it's about giving people opportunities that haven't had a lot of opportunities before. So for example, with the Charlotte Harrison, like, it's her first ever gig. She's never gigged before. So that was kind of like the vibe that I was going for, that we would like give somebody who basically hasn't had a lot of opportunities before a chance to basically like get an opportunity, and a chance to like gig live on stage for the first time. And I wanted to give like loads of people like opportunities, like, as you do. Anyway, so I was on the hunt for like a college student who was basically like into basically like photography, who wanted to maybe like have like the experience of like, who wanted that experience of like something to put on their CV, something to take back to college and say, look, I photographed my first event today. Do you know what I mean? And I thought like that would be like a really, really cool thing for somebody. And I had lots of people get in touch, and a lot of people just, they didn't read the post properly. And like, I got people that had been like doing photography for like a good few years, and they were kind of quoting me like 500 or 600 quid to like photograph the event. And I'm like, listen, look, I am doing this event on a budget. it wasn't necessarily about like getting the biggest and best photographer in the game and laying out 600-700 quid to to hire the best photographer. It was about giving somebody a chance who's maybe at college, they want to get into photography and they need an opportunity. That was kind of what I was hunting for. And I understand, I understand that like there's a lot of people out there that don't agree with you're wanting basically somebody that'll do it for free. I wasn't necessarily wanting somebody that'd do it for free. I'm all down for paying somebody, but I was wanting to give somebody an opportunity where I would pay them, but the pay wouldn't be a massive amount. So they'd get an opportunity, they'd get a little bit of pay for doing it, and it'd be their first, look at me. I've actually done my first event photographing. I've done my first photography event, and I've even earned a little bit of money for it. Just that real first 16, 17-year-olds kind of first sort of they're in college, they've left school, they're wanting to be a photographer, and it was just that first opportunity where they'd get out there and they'd get some experience and they could put it down on a CV, and it would be really good. And like I say, some really good photographers got in touch and quoted me. Some of them quoted me just look, listen, I've done photography for 5+ years, blah, 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 worked at many of events, and and I appreciate that, and I don't for one second think these people would be a bad photographer. It was just more, again, it was giving somebody a performance opportunity, a volunteer opportunity. That kind of was the vibe I was going for. And someone did kind of put a little bit of a snotty comment, saying I'm guessing this is, you're wanting somebody to do it for free, and then left it kind of a little bit snotty. And that wasn't necessarily the case. Like I say, I wasn't just hoping somebody would do it for free. I was kind of hoping that somebody would kind of do it who would maybe be happy accepting 50 to 100 quid, who just wanted that opportunity, that first chance, just to get a little bit of experience and basically their foot in the door. When I first started DJing out in clubs, I actually did play for free, because I wanted the experience. I wanted to get out there. I wanted to go everywhere and play sets and get my name about. That was a big thing. And obviously I was hoping that I'd find somebody in the photography game that's the same. They're hungry. They want to get to events and photograph. They want to offer to photograph somebody's event for either nothing or for cheap as chips. Which, like I say, I was always willing to pay somebody. I just couldn't afford to. I just couldn't afford to pay 500-600 quid or 400 quid or 300 quid. I was just hoping if somebody said I'll do 100 quid, I'll do a couple of hours for you, and you're giving me a bit of experience, I'd have been look, we're calling it a done deal. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm happy to do that. But at the same time, it is a free entry event. So I'm trying to do things on a budget as best I can. But of course I want the event to do well as well. And, so I am, I am putting money into the event, which is I know it sounds crazy, when it's free entry. Now, I've not put loads in. I'm not stupid. But I wanted it to work, and I wanted to do something that hopefully if it did well this year, then we would look at ways that how we could make it better sort of the following year, whether we include well, listen, look, you're going to have to pay an entrance fee, or we can approach the council and say, look, I put this event on, it did really, really well. I'd like to now do it again the following year. I'd like to make it a bit bigger. I'd like to make it better. I'd like to have a grant for some funding. Maybe get a little bit of funding to put the next event on, where we can make it a little bit bigger. We can maybe get a sound engineer, put some bands on, maybe hire a photographer, and just kind of do something again that would be like really, really cool to do, where essentially, you know, like we could like essentially, you know, take it to another level, where if we can kind of show the council or whoever we're applying the funding for, you know, we can show them, look, this is how well the first event went. It was very positive. People said lots of good things about it. People want to see it come back. It would be really great if we could maybe get some funding for it. Again, on the off chance, that we're giving like young musicians and or just like, you know, upcoming musicians in the area, like a platform to be able to play at a gig, and that would like literally be the whole vibes. So it's a journey, I understand, and do for the kicks. Well, this is it. So we'll see what happens. The photographer is not a massive big deal for me. Like, I can get like some friends just to take some pictures on the phone and stuff. Like, I'm sure like I can get some good stuff done during the day. I can take pictures myself. I'm very capable. Like, I'm going to announce like some of the artists and stuff like that on the stage, and then like I can very much like take some photos while they're doing what they do, like while they're singing and stuff. So that's basically like the whole score. So what is the next plans then? What's the plans going forward for the event now? So the next thing is we need to order the gazebo. So I'm ordering a gazebo later this week. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because we are actually going to set up the stage quite early in the beer garden itself, and we're basically going to offer some live music at the pub while the World Cup is on. So like we're going to have like some DJs on like before football matches, and get some like vibes going, like ready while people are getting ready to watch like a World Cup match. And then just plus as well, like there'll be some weekends where the weather will be like quite belting, and then we can just like have an afternoon of music and stuff like that. And not only that, like it'll get people used to, like there's something happening in this beer garden. We can like make sure that the sound is sounding all good. And we can just kind of like practice just playing some like DJ music and, laptop Spotify, and I might do a couple of like DJ sets out there myself just to kind of test it and be out there in the sun when it gets a little bit warmer and stuff. So I'm going to be ordering the gazebo, and then we've got to sort the power out. So we've got power outside, but we need an extension lead that's going to kind of run from this outdoor TV, and it's going to kind of run to where we need it to be, where the gazebo is going to be, essentially. So the initial plan is we're going to get a big, long, heavy duty, one of them extension leads on a coil that you like roll out, and we're going to basically have it run down the side of a wall, so it's out of the way of like where people are going to walk. And usually you get about 4 plugs on them, but what we're going to do is we're going to plug another extension lead into the first one. So I'm hoping to basically have 2 extension leads. So I want one, the big coil one, that is just going to be like what will basically just get the power from one side of the beer garden to the other, and then hopefully to have another trailing socket or extension lead that, again, it's not going to be the shortest one known to man. And hopefully I'm hoping like to find one that will have maybe around like 10 plugs on it or something, just so we've got like spare plugs, just so we can have things like not all kind of like next to each other, have them tuck away, get some tape down, like wire tape to like stick them down and stuff. And that'll be kind of like the next part of action. And then I guess the plan after that will be just like hammering the promotion side of things. Any sort of like little last minute bits that, you know, I need to do, which I've got plans, I've got ideas that I'm really looking forward to. Anyway, so that's kind of the plan. And then basically, I've already initially started planning beyond the event. Now, I haven't started planning too much beyond the event because obviously I don't want the focus to shift away. I don't want to get too carried away when we haven't obviously ran the first event yet. Like, obviously, I'm not the type of person who wants to jump the gun. However, if the event does do well, I am thinking of launching a sister event alongside this one. So this one is called In the Beer Garden, right? What I'm thinking is to launch In the Pub, which is basically the sister to In the Beer Garden. So when it's like winter and when we can't go outside and do stuff in the sunshine, I'm thinking of launching In the Pub, which will basically just be like a smaller version of In the Beer Garden that will just take place indoors. And my initial plan is they're only going to be quite small. They're only going to be like maybe from like 7 till 2 in the morning, couple of singers, and then some DJs that will just go through to the early hours. And I'm just thinking like to do around 2 of them in between and In the Beer Garden. So like In the Beer Garden, I want it to be like maybe like an annual August thing. You know, we run it like every August bank holiday. That's kind of my initial plan. And then with the In the Pub, I'm maybe thinking that like we maybe do sort of like an In the Pub in November, and then maybe do like another In the Pub in maybe like a March, April kind of thing. Just so like they're not too close to each other, but like, you know, we can do a little kind of like In the Pub, sort of like maybe March, and then sort of after that we then start you know, we got to start really pushing the next In the Beer Garden kind of thing. As obviously like sort of April, May is when I've kind of like really started on this year's In the Beer Garden. So I think like around the same time next year is when I'll, you know, like if everything goes well and I decide that, you know, this is something that's going to continue, and then, yeah, you know, I'll start promoting again around the same time, and it'll probably be like a very sort of like similar sort of, be kind of like a very similar kind of format where like I will just basically like start teasing, look, you know, the 2027 In the Beer Garden's coming, putting a lineup together again. You know, which will be good. Obviously, we'll have bought the gazebo, so that'll kind of be like well, listen, this is, you know, we've got that now, so if we need to use it again, like we've already got it. Again, you know, whether I maybe get funding for it, and then we might actually be able to like hire a stage or something. That would be like pretty cool, like if we could just hire like a small stage maybe. But we'll have to see. You know, I guess the first thing is like we just need to like, you know, basically like, yeah. Yes, man. But yeah, so we're just gonna really see how the first one goes. And like I'm excited for it. So there we go. So that's the updates up to now. When I get a little bit further in the planning, I will come live again. I'll share some more updates. So make sure to like, comment, share, and we'll see you soon.